Hi everyone, Kirsten here. So for today's video alone, I just thought I would be sharing something with you guys that I've been thinking about starting to do for quite a long time, and that is the alternative girl tag. So I recently watched that alternative girl tag video by, I think her name is Snowy Lowther, I think her YouTube username is. I'll be sure to mention it on the screen in case if I didn't say it right or something. But anyway, so I felt really inspired to do this tag in Pacific, mainly because, you know, I used to be quite the edgy girl myself, and there's parts of me that still has that bit of alternative edginess style till this very day. So without further ado, I am just going to go ahead and get started and dive right on into the questions. Okay, so question number one is, describe your style. To be honest, there's quite a few styles that I tend to go for. The way I would describe my style is, of course, a little bit of edgy. It's, how do I put this? I think my style in terms of like right now and today, it's more like a preppy rocker kind of look that's been going on with my look lately. Sometimes my clothing will be inspired by, you know, biker. Sometimes my edginess style will be inspired by like hookers or stripper-like clothing most days, and then some days my style itself can be a little bit goth. That's the best way I can describe my styles that I've previously had before. And then the styles that I tend to go for right now is kind of like a variety alternative look, kind of. So I really do hope that makes sense. Back in high school, I used to have more of like a gothic look that's been going on with my personal look back in the day, so I really do hope that makes sense in terms of back in the day and in terms of right now. Okay, so question number two is, how did you start wearing different clothes, hair, piercings, etc.? Mainly, when I got started into this whole alternative kind of look, I guess my alternative kind of style slash look started back in, I think, between my freshman year of high school and my sophomore year of high school. I always knew I was a bit more of a different person myself, so I felt like I had the need to stand out boldly compared to other people. I just mostly wanted to try a different style during that time, and so freshman year I got into more of like a rocker kind of look. And then by the time I was in my sophomore year of high school through junior year, senior year, I tend to go for like a more of a gothic look. So like in terms of clothes wise, sophomore year I started to like wear a lot more black than usual. And eventually I would start to wear like fishnets with like my jeans and sometimes my mini skirts and stuff like that. And I would wear army boots with my fishnet, and then skirts, obviously, my plaited skirts. And I didn't really wear blouses too much, but I knew I wore like more like black tops, kind of. I guess that's when I started to dress a little bit more edgier back in the day, and even now. I didn't really do much with my hair. I still don't do much with my hair. Sometimes I'll straighten my hair out, which of course I straightened my hair out today because sometimes I grow very, very tired of my hair being so wavy. Like, I don't mind having wavy hair, it's just the only issue I have with my hair at this point is the fact that when it does wave, you know, sometimes the waves will be all over the place, and sometimes it drives me nuts in that department. And I don't know, I I just have that kind of irritation with my hair, so I don't really do anything crazy with my hair in Pacific. The only thing I do is just straighten it out once in a while, and that'll be it. Although sometimes I would like color my hair ever so often. So like as you can see, the blonde in my hair is starting to fade out a little bit, but sometimes I'll tend to go for like more fun colors. Like sometimes I'll feel like I'll try out like purples and reds and blues in parts of my hair. So like I'll use them as highlights or streaks or something. And then occasionally, once in a while, I'll dye my hair like almost completely jet black, because sometimes I get tired of my hair that's really light. I mean, I don't have problems with like my natural hair lighting. I mean, it is really pretty, I'm not gonna lie, but sometimes I just feel like going for more of a darker color, kind of. In terms of like piercing wise, I really did wanted to get so much piercings back in high school, definitely for sure. I used to have like a nose ring right here, but then what made me took it off was the fact that I used to visit my mom in prison almost every year or every other year or so. So one day I was forced to take out my nose ring when I was getting ready to go through security to visit my mom. They didn't like the idea of that nose piercing, so I was forced to take it out. And after I got out of the whole prison cell visiting my mom, I couldn't find my nose ring, and I still don't know where the fuck it is till this very day, so I haven't worn my nose ring since then. And then I used to have like this septum piercing right here. It was for a brief moment, and I pierced it myself back in my sophomore year of high school, and I don't recommend you guys do that because you can actually get an infection or you can die from a piercing. So have somebody pierce your body professionally. Don't just let your friends or do it yourself, kind of. That was the worst mistake I've ever made in my life, and I don't recommend doing it yourself. So have somebody professionally pierce it for you. Okay, so question number 3. Do your parents accept your style? Yes, my parents were very accepting of my style back then as well as now. And even my grandparents were pretty accepting about it as well. There's not really much issues I had going on with like my family in Pacific. They were just very accepting of my style, and as a matter of fact, some of them do think that that lifestyle or like that style in Pacific is really cool. So yeah, just no issues with my parents or my grandparents there. They were just very, very accepting of my style and how I feel like dressing. Okay, so question number 4. Have you ever suffered bullying for being different? Bullying is kind of like a strong word for that, I would think. I never was bullied today or even back in the day when I started to dress a little bit more edgier. I wasn't bullied, honestly, but occasionally you'll run into some asshole or some random bitch that will randomly make a remark towards you for dressing differently. So like for example, back in high school, I was wearing like my plaited skirt and I was wearing like my black top, fishnets, and army boots. There's this one girl that was like, "Oh my god, she looks so scary." Something like that. I don't know, it's just very stupid. Usually when people make some type of remarks along those lines, it kind of pisses me off or kind of bothers me a little bit, but it never really did piss me off to the fact that, you know, it would practically get to me, but still. The ignorance of people nowadays is just unbelievable at this point, and it drives me absolutely nuts, to be honest, because, you know, instead of accepting the fact that people have different styles, people would rather just stereotype other people and just try to bring others down for being so different, which is very, very irritating. And then I had another comment from some guy claiming that I was emo. And honestly, the emo and the gothic subculture are like two completely different cultures, and I feel like that's the biggest misconception when it comes to like people that are goth versus emo. There's quite a big difference with like that type of subculture, and it really irritates me because they are two completely different subcultures altogether. Just smart-ass, ignorant comments, so nothing too serious or nothing too personal or nothing like that. So that's all I can say, really. Question number 5. What was the most outrageous look you've ever had? I didn't have a completely outrageous look to a point where it was like over the top or whatnot, but if I were to think of one in Pacific or like a few at the top of my head, I would say my most outrageous look would be the fact that during my freshman year of college, I remember at one point I wore like fishnets with like booty shorts and a pair of like red and black checkered Vans, and then I also had like a really tight red top on that says "I want you to want me," and then I also had like an edgy jacket that I was wearing along with it, and I feel like I was getting the attention that in a negative way instead of a positive way, because I remember a few guys were looking at me like, oh, you know, I could tap that piece of ass or some shit. It was the most uncomfortable look I have ever felt when it came to men looking at me. Thank God nobody came up to like making a smart-ass comment about sex or whatnot, so I'm glad that never happened, but I got the attention in more of a negative aspect that people were thinking that I'm a whore or a slut or something, so I never really did dress like that ever again. But and another look that I used to go for was oh my god, I can't believe I did this back in high school. But back in my like sophomore year of high school, I was starting to dress more gothy, kind of. So I wore like so much black clothing, and I wore really dark makeup, and I made my face so pale I looked like a motherfucking ghost. And and it was like during the month of October, which is still one of my favorite months ever because I think it's so awesome. But I remember at one point I would have like blood splattered on my face and shit. And I actually went to school dressing up like that. I am not kidding you. I would dress like that constantly, and people were so fucking terrified of me. I felt like people were looking at me like I was the psycho bitch that wanted to kill everybody. Like, people were so terrified of me because of that look that was going on about my Pacific look, so yeah, I never dressed that way again, unfortunately, although I do love the edginess aspect of it. Question number 6. Do you have or had any tattoos or piercings? I do have a tattoo, and basically I have a left upper thigh piece, a purple fairy sitting on a crescent moon, which is really, really cool. I'll be sure to show off that tattoo in the future, but for now I'm just probably gonna post this picture on this side right here so you guys can see what my tattoo looks like for now. But in terms of like showing it off, I'll probably do that in the near future and talk about it or something. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want me to talk about that or whatnot. So I think that would be very interesting to do, actually. And I know I've mentioned this earlier, but I used to have like my nose ring right here. And then obviously I used to have a pierced septum that I did myself for like a very, very brief moment. And then I used to have like a bar right here. It was a very painful procedure, I thought, and It was very uncomfortable to wear simply because it kept on getting infected. I loved that piercing so much, but eventually I had to take it out because it was hurting so fucking bad that I just had to, unfortunately. So I no longer have that type of ear piercing anymore. And I obviously have ears piercings, 2 on each side, so that was basically all I had. And yeah, no crazy outrageous piercings or anything else, just a few main ones. That was it. And then I do plan on getting more tattoos in the future, so I think that would be very, very interesting to do, and I am really excited to do that one day. Okay, so final question at number 7 is, what would you say to people who are suffering or being judged for the way they look? So, my personal advice to the people that like to dress a little bit edgy or tend to have like more of an alternative lifestyle, number 1, don't let anybody judge you based off of what you like. And unfortunately, instead of giving people the benefit of the doubt or whatnot, people would rather judge a book by its cover rather than like opening up the book and giving it a good read. So I just think that's really, really stupid in that department, because once you open up a book that you are not expecting it to be so awesome, I think you would have a completely different perspective on that specific book in general. So don't judge that book unless you actually start to pick it up yourself and actually read it. And if you do, you're randomly going to think, oh, well, this book is actually really good. I'm glad I gave this a really good chance to read. Another thing I would say is, don't let anybody justify who you are as a person. You are your own person, and you should always continue to be yourself no matter what other people say. If you love piercings, then chances are, by all means, get more piercings. And if you love to dress a certain way, do feel the need to dress however pleases you. It wouldn't matter if it pleases other people. And remember, not everybody is born to please everybody. So you do whatever makes you completely happy. Stereotypes nowadays are so fucking stupid that it's really pissing me the fuck off. So another thing I would suggest is don't take what people says about certain stereotypes too seriously, because chances are it is a complete, number 1, biggest misconceptions in certain types of subcultures generally, and number 2, it is complete fucking bullshit. So do not listen to people that are throwing you these random stereotypes. So those are my advices. So that is basically it for what I have to share on this alternative girl tag. So if you would love to participate in this tag in Pacific, just be sure to leave it down in the comments down below. To link your video on that Pacific alternative girl tag, and I will check it out myself, comment, and leave a like, obviously. So I would really love to do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of what I had to share all together. So if you did, and you would love to see more of my videos in the future, just be sure to sucker punch that like button down below. And if you haven't already, please do dedicate the time and effort to subscribe to my lovely channel to become a part of my army of darkness, and you will be updated with a brand new video every single Friday. So that is pretty much it. And before I completely end this video altogether, I forgot to mention about this in my updated video last week. So what I wanted to point out is I'm also going to be pretty busy this month and next month, mainly due to the fact that I will be filming for my intro to cinema class, which ought to be very interesting. I am filming a music video that I am doing for my own personal project. So if you would love to see that music video I'm doing, be sure to leave it down in the comments down below to let me know if you guys would love to see that music video in particular. I'm very excited about this project because I'm using my favorite band and my favorite music into this awesome music video that I'm doing. At least I feel like it's awesome. So yeah, do let me know about that. And that's all I wanted to share. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome for sticking to the very end of this video. So have a completely chill week, an awesome day or night, and I will talk to you all soon in the next video. So until then, stay completely dark and so fucking brutal and awesome, my friends. So don't forget to stick up your devil horns for me like I'm doing right now. So take care. Bye for now.